My guest today is Karl Romain. He's a highly sought after certified master trainer and coach whose clients come from all walks of life. They're from business executives, pro athletes, coaches, entrepreneurs, to even couples who are seeking growth in their relationships. He's a world martial arts champion and Hall of Fame member. And through his life's journey, he's accomplished many things, including becoming a published author and speaker, making many radio and TV appearances, and we're lucky to have him today. He is the co host of the Reset Radio and Digital Show. Welcome, Karl.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here with you.
Well, you got my interest with that world martial arts champion because I'm a workout person. I'm not a world martial arts champion, but I am a workout person. I work out every day. And as I age, people keep saying, why do you keep doing it? And I keep saying, and I'm going to do it until I can't do it anymore. But anyway, so we're happy to have you with us. And I'm just wondering how the commonality with the people that you work with. I mean, you're working with execs, CEOs, I assume, pro athletes, coaches. I'm not sure if they're athletic coaches or life coaches, and entrepreneurs. So, what is the commonality there? I guess.
Well, pretty much, I define it this way. I tell everybody that my passion led me to my purpose. I did martial arts for a long time. I had a horrific car accident, made a comeback from the car accident to become a world champion. And during that time, people would approach me and talk to me about their dreams they gave up on, things they wanted to accomplish in their life that they didn't know whether or not they could, and they didn't feel like they had the support. And the commonality that I find, whether somebody's a life coach or in a relationship or, a business owner, is that they all have dreams. Some big, some small, things that they want to accomplish, things that they want to achieve with their life. And I help them see possibilities to actually live the life of their dreams. That's what I do.
Well, it takes a certain kind of mindset, though, to be in an accident like you were, and then to come back and become a champion. I mean, you didn't just come back and do your thing. You became a champion. So it takes a lot, to do that. And your whole thing, your whole goal and your whole theme and what you do is resetting your life.
Yeah.
So you say that summer is a great time to reset your life. Is there a reason for that?
Sure, absolutely. Because in the summertime, things slow down. So we're going to go on vacation. We're going to relax a little bit more. People are going to cancel appointments. And it gives you an opportunity to sit back and think clearly about your life, where most of the year is pretty hectic and pretty busy. So I'd say that's like the first opportunity to really reset your life, because like I said, you could take a break, you could sit back, you're going to go on vacation, you're going to have some downtime. And during that time, you could really think about, well, number one, how are things going? Number two, what do I really want right now? If things aren't going the way I want them to go, what do I need to change? So there's some great questions you can ask yourself just to really start to reset and look at your life a little bit differently.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I just came back from a visit to San Diego, and I went out with one of my broker friends, and he and his daughter and I went to lunch. And she was getting ready to go back to school, and it's July, and I said, and she's 10, and I said, what? And he said, she's, they're on a year-round schedule there. And I said, doesn't that play havoc with people's vacation? We all remember times when people go to camps. I would think it would affect the camp industry.
Yes.
I would think, there's so many repercussions all along the line. And I'm just wondering now, with our lifestyles of today, whether we do slow down in the summer, because so many of us are on this treadmill, and people's lives are changing, and schedules are changing, and what we do with our kids are changing. So what would you say is the first step in resetting your life?
I would tell you to start with managing your schedule. You know, I live by Google Calendar, and all of my appointments, my work schedule, everything is on there. And I schedule my downtime as well. So even during a busy day, if you could give yourself, you know, I tell my clients, give yourself a minimum of 30 to 45 minutes of just downtime where you do absolutely nothing, or you do something that's going to feed you, you know, something that's going to inspire you, something that's going to move you forward or help you to relax even, you know, whether it's, you know, 30 minutes of just breathing, or you know, a short workout is good, reading a great book, or just listening to music, but schedule that downtime. So first, control your schedule. That's the first step.
So how do your execs react to that? I'm just wondering if they do practice what you preach.
They do practice what I preach because they're coming to me because they want the help. They recognize that there are some things that are out of order and not necessarily the way they should be. And so they see the need to actually sit back and think about things. They also understand that, you know, if you're going to accomplish a goal, you have to have a plan. And as a coach, it's my job to help co-create that plan with them and to offer not suggestions, but to ask questions to get them to think through how they got to where they are now and how they're going to get to where they want to be.
We can talk a good game and we can inspire people and we can motivate people,
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean that they all take action. You know that.
Mhm.
So how do you check up on your people? You know, I do the same thing. I have a
Yes.
schedule. I like calendars though, but you
Mhm.
know, I like paper calendars. So and I first thing I do when I get up is work out. So I get that done because I know if I tell myself I'll do it later, I won't do it later. So
Right.
I do it first thing. And then the other thing is, you know, I don't so much schedule downtime as I take advantage of downtime. In other words,
Mm.
when I see that there's a break, I use it to either look out the window because I live on the water,
Oh,
or I
nice.
pet my animals, you know,
Yes, yes.
and whatever, because, you know, sometimes I'm sitting there and my cat is in my lap. I don't even know how he got there because I was not conscious of it. I was just kind of sitting there, and all of a sudden there's an animal in my lap and I'm petting it.
Right.
So I'm just curious how you monitor your clients or how you
Mhm.
know what's going on with them.
Well, my clients do what's called a coach prep form. So before I speak to them for their session, I actually get an accounting of how they did that week. What was their assignments? What did they keep up with? What didn't they keep up with? Why they thought they didn't keep up with it? And so before we even start our session, there's a review. Well, let's talk about last week. How did you do with this? How did you do with that? And they're pretty honest about that.
I
So
was going to ask you that, whether they were
yeah,
honest. Yeah.
yeah. And if a client is not necessarily following through, we're going to talk about that too. You know, of course, every now and then you're going to get a client that procrastinates, but most of the clients, especially the ones when we talk about professional athletes or CEOs, they're high functioning people. They want to get a specific result in their life, and they're pretty committed to do whatever it takes that they have to do to get that result.
Well, that's terrific. That's terrific. Now, your backstory, is it just about the accident or what is your entire backstory?
You want to know the whole story?
Well, in other words, what got you to where you are?
Well, what got me to where I am is truly the hard work and focus and determination that I learned from being in the martial arts. I started in the martial arts at age 10. I saw Bruce Lee and I was inspired by that. My mom enrolled me, and I remember my first class thinking I will never quit. And through many years of hard work and training, I reached a pretty high level. By the time I was a senior in high school, I made a choice. You know, what am I going to do with my life? And you know, my family either a doctor, lawyer, accountant, or engineer. And I said, well, I didn't want to do any of those things. I really want to do martial arts. And my dad was pretty tough, and he kind of like, you know, you're 18, you're a man, so you can make whatever choice you want to make. If you want to go to school, I'll help you. If you choose this other road, you're on your own. So you better be ready to do the work. Which I think was a good thing, you know, because I was ready to do the work and willing, obviously, to do it. And I bought a ticket to California. I trained with a world champion out there. I came back home. I was working, competing. I got ranked in the top 25 in the country in my region, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. And then I had that devastating car accident, and the doctors told me I'd never be able to compete again. For a while, I traveled the tournament circuit in a neck brace, watching other people win tournaments that I knew I could win. And that was a big motivator for me because I started looking at it differently. I started thinking about myself differently and opportunities that I had that maybe sometimes I didn't take advantage of. And so one day I was in the city, I was talking to a friend who'd been an athlete. He had injuries, and he said, if you really think you can come back, do it. And so I did. I found a way to make a comeback and trained really hard. And like I said, in 1990, I represented the U.S. team in international competition and became a world champion. And from there, everything pretty much changed because people were very excited about what I had accomplished. They were sharing with me their stories and things that they wanted to do. And I realized that my life was saved for a reason. And that reason was to inspire people to live the life of their dreams. And that's kind of like how I started the journey. So after the World Championships and after people shared their stories with me and I figured out what my life purpose was, I started by just teaching and training people in martial arts. And I wanted to expand my operation. So I hired a consultant. And in 18 months, this guy changed my life. I went from 1 school to 4. And then he hired me to go to work for him as a consultant. And so I was a consultant for martial arts schools. And it was during that time that I learned about life coaching and really got into life coaching because I said to him, hey, the stuff that you shared with me, it worked for me, but some of these guys aren't getting the results that we need them to get. And he said, use this tool. And it was a life coaching tool that he had developed. And I started sharing it and teaching it to the guys I was working with. And I watched their lives change right before my eyes. And I got really excited about that. And then from there, I just started coaching people and working with them. Eventually, I got certified as a life coach. I got certified through Fowler International Academy of Coaching, which was created by Barry Fowler, who is the founder of Sylvan Learning Centers. And that's where I got certified as a life coach, a master business coach, as well as a master life coach as well, where I can train and certify other coaches. So that's my story, and that's how I kind of got to where I am today.
Well, that's a really motivating story because you went through a lot of pain and a lot of anguish and a lot of everything, and you came back and you used the tools that you were given to do that, and now you're passing that on. So you can't get any better than that. But what would you say then are the biggest mistakes that people make that prevent them from fulfilling their purpose? I know I get very frustrated when I see people that I know can do X, Y, and Z, and they're not doing it. And, and I think to myself, well, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Yeah.
So what do you think, what have you seen are the biggest mistakes that people make?
Well, I think that there aren't hopeless situations, but there are people who lose hope in situations. And I think that's one of the biggest things is never give up on yourself and never give up on a dream that's really, truly, honestly in your heart that you believe that you can accomplish. And sometimes, yeah, you have to shift directions, which is what I did. I changed my direction a little bit, modified what I was doing. I couldn't do everything I wanted to do, but I was still able to make my dreams come true. So I think that's the number one thing is don't give up on yourself. Some people procrastinate, and they put things off and keep putting things off and never get it done because they just keep pushing it into the future. And we know that procrastination is really about your fear. So hire a coach, hire somebody who can help you, hire, whoever you need to hire to motivate you and help you to move beyond the fears that you have so you can accomplish the things that you want to do.
Well, I used to teach about procrastination, and I came up with the idea that either it wasn't that important to them. In other words, it was something they didn't want to do in the first place.
Right.
Or they didn't know how to do it. Or they just felt, that it was something they could put on the back burner. When the people that you coach who are procrastinators, what is their biggest reason, do you think?
Most of the time when I ask them about that, what tends to come up are their fears. They're afraid of, what other people might think. They're afraid that they may not be able to accomplish their goal. They have some fear or some concern around Can I handle the responsibility? Is it going to be overwhelming? And whatever that fear, that concern is, that's what we try to deal with and try to help them shift their perspective.